Would you believe me if I told you that absolutely anything that you can envision in your mind right now already exists? Yeah, that's right. We need to completely get rid of the idea that when it comes to manifestation, that we're creating things, that we're actually calling in a life that isn't already in existence. Because we're not. That's not what we're doing. We're not creating something out of nothingness because there's nothing to be created. Everything that you want exists now. In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what I mean and how you can tap into the reality that you desire with ease, because that's how it should feel. Hey fam, welcome to my channel. I'm Rahosa, and if this is the first time that you're seeing my face, then welcome. On this channel, I'm here to remind you of the creative power that lives within you. I believe that we were all created to create the best world possible, and that starts with creating the best world possible for ourselves. So that way we have that full cup energy to bring to the people around us in our lives, as well as the world. So if topics like manifestation, spirituality, self-development interest you, then you're going to want to leave this video a like, comment, and hit that subscribe button, because this channel is about to become your best friend. Now let's talk about the topic of today's video, which is about creation and how creation is finished. Meaning we're never creating something from nothing. We're only aligning ourselves to a reality where our desire already exists. But I'm actually going to back it up a little bit and talk about what does it mean creation is finished. I'm pretty sure that Neville Goddard is the one who popularized this term in this particular language in this way, but by no means is this a new concept or new modern day spiritual teachings. Absolutely not. This is an ancient wisdom, and even Neville Goddard himself drew inspiration from ancient mysticism such as Kabbalah. So in order to truly understand the meaning of creation is finished, we must first understand generally the idea of time. Humans see time as linear, of course, right? We have a past, a present, and a future. That's how we were programmed, that's how we were raised. Based on our limited perception of being a human being, having this experience, this is the way that we understand time to be. But we need to understand that that perception of time is just that. It is just a perception of what time is. It's not the real reality itself of what time actually means. The truth about the real reality is that time is all happening at once. You may have heard there's no such thing as time, and in real reality, there isn't. When we are stripped of our limitations in the human body and we are brought back to source consciousness, the concept of time does not exist. It only exists here in this physical realm in the way that we see it and perceive it. So because in real reality, time does not exist, and every single event that has ever happened and ever will happen all exists in what Neville Goddard called the fourth dimensional reality, what Kabbalah calls the endless world, what scientists like Dr. Joe Dispenza calls the quantum field, this infinite realm of endless energy that exists in a dimension that is different than the human dimension. And I think it actually would make it easier and make more sense to think about different dimensions as higher and lower states of consciousness. Human beings, we have overall lower states of consciousness. We're very limited in our perception of true reality. But the more we raise our consciousness and raise our vibration and our energy, the more we truly see and understand more of how reality works, because that veil is being lifted, because we are raising our energy beyond just the physical level consciousness, because everything is just different scales and levels of states of consciousness. When we raise our consciousness, we understand more of the truth, because we're getting closer and closer to the light and to the higher dimensional realities. The more that we can be present in the moment, in the now, we'll understand this more and more, because life is always only ever happening in the now, in this very moment. Anything else exists purely in our consciousness and in our mind. It is never a reality. The only thing that we know for a fact is reality is this exact moment. And now it's this moment. And now it's this moment. But it was never the moment just 5 seconds ago, because that is now only a memory that is living in our past. It is not happening in this current moment. So the meaning of creation is finished means that every single possible and potential and past event that has ever happened or ever will happen is all existing right now in this very moment in a higher dimensional world reality. So what this means and how this is helpful to us is that we know that any single desire that pops into our mind that we could ever possibly want, there is a reality where you have that thing. There are infinite potential realities that are actually real existing realities that exist right now in this moment, but it's up to us to raise our consciousness to that level to align with that reality. And there are infinite potential realities. There's a reality where you have absolutely everything that you could ever desire. There's a reality where you're a millionaire, a billionaire, and there's a reality where you have nothing. There's a reality where you are the most beautiful, successful, healthy version of you, and there's a reality that exists where you are 10 times worse than your current state, where you have lost everything, you have nothing, you're in horrible shape. Like, every single potential timeline exists. It is our state of consciousness that moves us from one reality to another. But how exactly do we do this? That is what I'm going to talk about in this video. Now, the reason that if something exists in consciousness, that it is a potential and it is already created, it already exists, we're just aligning ourselves to it. The reason that this is the case is because our imagination, our consciousness, that is actually the true reality. This world of form and of physicality, this is actually not real reality. This world is a very slowed down and delayed version of the real reality. Whereas in the endless world, we think something and it's an instant manifestation. We live in the world where we have time and space that are buffers between us receiving our desires and manifestation. If something can exist in consciousness, then it can exist in reality. And that is because our consciousness, our imagination is the true reality. Our imagination is God, as Neville Goddard would say. It is our imagination that expands beyond our physical limitations. We have a certain way that we view our life and what is possible for us. But by using our imagination, we're able to expand that current image that we have of ourselves and imagine something different for our lives. And with this aspect of us, our imagination, that is the creator that lives within each and every one of us. That is what truly creates. But it's not even really creating, it's just opening portals for us to access that reality that exists already in our imagination. Because like we said, if it exists in our imagination, it exists in reality. The same way that God is not a form, right? God cannot be explained in physical language even, because God is all there is. It's the energy essence of everything that our limited human minds cannot even begin to fathom and understand. And this is why we cannot deepen and strengthen and build a relationship with the universe, with God creator, by using simply logic alone. To connect to the universe, to connect with God and truly have that understanding coming from within you and truly feeling the connectedness between everything and everyone, in order to really feel that, you need to raise your consciousness to get closer to the truth of everything, which is the light and the creator, God, universe, whatever you want to say, because it's all levels and states of consciousness. Let's say that God, the creator, light exists here, top of the top. Let's say this is like the source of absolutely everything, all the ultimate fulfillment in the world. I'm really simplifying this, by the way, but this is a very deep Kabbalistic concept that I'm just trying to make as practical as I can. But think about this in the metaphor of the light of the creator, the source of everything, exists at the highest level. For us human beings to even slightly access the tiniest sliver of that light, we need to raise our consciousness to get closer to the light. The closer to the light we get, the more creators we become of our own reality, the more fulfillment and happiness and joy that we feel in our lives, the deeper the connection that we form with spirit, with life and all that is. But in the same way that God, the creator universe, is not a form, it is the absolute opposite of form. It is absolutely everything. It is an energy essence. In the same way that the creator is not form, neither are our desires yet, right? Otherwise it wouldn't be a desire. We only desire it because it's not physically in our reality. I don't see the money in my bank. I don't see the ideal version of me in the reality. I don't see the ideal version of me in the mirror. Therefore, it's not real. But we need to change our perception of what we view real as. Just because you don't physically see your desire in your reality right now does not mean that it does not exist. If your state of consciousness is right here and you desire this thing that's going to bring you closer to the light, you desire this thing that's going to make you more light, more happy, more fulfilled, then you need to align yourself with the reality of your desire. And that's what people mean by raising your consciousness, is really raising yourself closer to the source of everything, closer to the creator, right? You're on this level, your desire's on this level, let's say closer to God, closer to the source of everything, closer to the universe. We need to shift timelines in order to access that desire. Because at the current level that you're at, you wouldn't be able to hold the desire. You need to first be able to shift your state of consciousness to access your desire that is already existing, that is already created. Even in Kabbalah, which is an ancient mysticism that decodes the Old Testament, there is a line by King Solomon that says, "The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun." This means that there is nothing new that is to be created. Absolutely everything in existence and reality has been existing and always will be existing. It can get to be a very deep concept and very deep topic, but the point of learning these things is so we can learn how do we practically use this in our own life to live a more fulfilled life and a life that is closer to the creator. So how does this help us manifest our desires? Well, for starters, it takes a whole lot of pressure off of us, right? Thinking that we have to create and manifest something out of nothing. No, it actually helps us to have this awareness and to know that whatever it is that we desire, it already exists out there. We just need to align ourselves with that reality. Having this knowing helps us focus on the part that we can control, which is controlling our state of consciousness, controlling what we focus on. It's not like this, like one event happens and you're in a completely new reality. No, every single choice that you make every single day shifts you into a new timeline, into a new destiny. So you can just continue to raise your state and raise your consciousness, not just to get your desires, although yes, you will get your desires, but because there's no limit to the amount of desires and fulfillment that you can achieve. Now let's talk about how does it work? How can you practically use this in your life to select a new timeline for yourself and align yourself with your desires? I'm going to share with you 3 things. For starters, number 1 is that having this understanding of everything I just spoke about really helps. And even for me, it's going to deepen over time. It's not something you just hear once and you like completely understand the concept. Like think about a time in your life where you heard a concept, you learned about it, and you're like, okay, I get that concept. That's a cool concept. I believe that. It's a spiritual concept. Cool. I can stand behind that. But then later in life, some event happens that you actually experience the concept working in your life for yourself, and you're like, oh, I thought I understood the concept back then, but now I really understand it. Now I have a deeper understanding of what this concept truly means. Well, it's the same for this concept of creation is finished. You might think you understand it now, but your understanding of it will deepen over time, just like any other teaching or spiritual teaching specifically. At the end of the day, everything that I just spoke to you, it's just words. It is just words that if you don't have the consciousness or the merit of disclosure, as I know Kabbalah calls it, the merit to understand the concepts, not just hearing words, you will only understand it to the extent that you are open to hearing the message. And then as you evolve on your spiritual journey, and same goes for me as well, I'm still very much a newbie in the eyes of linear time of being on Earth, and I have infinite things to learn, and I can only understand this concept to my level of perception. But even having this understanding can help us to feel that limitless ability of the creator to bring us everything that we desire. So that's number 1. Having this overall awareness is going to be really helpful to us in shifting our timelines, because before maybe we didn't have awareness on it, or maybe it wasn't the same as you're now understanding it. So bringing the awareness on this fact can also help you believe even more in the reality of this. So that's the number 1 way. Before I get into the second way that you can align yourself with your desired timeline, I want you to leave a sparkle emoji in the comment section if you're still watching this video at this point. I always love seeing the comments of the people who stay till the end of the video, because you already know I love and appreciate you so much for being here. But anyway, now let's get into the second way that you can align yourself. The way you align yourself with your desires is by simply selecting the desire that you want. Because like we're saying, infinite potential realities exist, and everything that you could possibly desire exists in some level. Out of those infinite possibilities and realities that you could call in, you need to claim yours. Claim the one that you desire. Like we said, you're not creating this reality, you're simply just choosing it, you're selecting it. So make your selection. Because now you have the awareness that absolutely anything is possible, maybe your selection might be a little bit different than what it was before, because now you have expanded your awareness to understand that there's more out there for you. Once you've selected that desire, you selected the reality, it now becomes your responsibility to keep your focus in the reality that you've selected. The more that you continuously bring your thoughts and emotions and feeling state into that reality that you've chosen, rather than your current reality that you're currently living in, if you instead take your attention out of the current experience you're in and into the reality that you desire to experience, and you start feeling those positive feelings now, then you literally are raising your vibration in that process. Because you're tapping into a reality where you are happier, you are more fulfilled, you are healthier, and you're choosing to feel that right now. That has to stretch you, that has to elevate your state of consciousness, and therefore that has to then reflect back to you in your world. So that is the third thing, is to consistently bring your thoughts, bring your actions, bring your emotional state and your focus into the life that you are selecting. Once you do put your focus and thoughts and emotions and actions into the life that you're creating, then comes that certainty piece, that assumption piece. The only thing that will continue to delay your desired reality and your manifestation is constantly looking for reassurance in the external world. The changes have to be done first in consciousness. And this is honestly the hardest part of manifestation, is switching the way that we're so used to responding to the world, which was so outwardly focused. Things happen externally to us and we get affected by them. That's how this world works. But switching our minds to first things are happening up here and then they're reflecting outwards, it's like a backwards way of thinking. We're not used to that way of thinking. So we have to get used to it. We have to train our minds to start thinking in a new way. So try your best to keep your focus in the life that you're creating and not allow the external world to sway you. So to wrap up this video, I want to ask you, now knowing that infinite potential realities exist and creation is finished, would you choose differently for yourself? Or would you still desire the same things that you are currently desiring? Do you feel like you might be limiting yourself? Do you feel like you could expand yourself more with this knowing, with this understanding? Let me know in the comment section what comes to you. But I'm gonna leave you guys off with that. That is all for me in this video, guys. I hope you got so much value out of it. If you did, please leave it a like and leave me a comment, hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! Love you.